The regrouping has begun after the Orioles got blitzed in New York. They go to Miami and win the first two of the series, and tonight can sweep the Marlins at Lone Depot Park. And that's a little better. Birdland Territory. This is our 15th show. We're rolling right along here, cranking them out. Steve Melewski, Brad Brach, Tim Barbalace, and glad you've joined us. Please subscribe to the channel and follow us on our podcast networks too. And we're also on X at Birdland Territory, so check that out. So, guys, that's much better for the Orioles. They weren't perfect wins, but they were wins. And I think right now, Brad, they need any kind of wins they can get, as many as they can roll off of. At a time when the American League has 12, I can't believe this is true, 12 losing records. The Orioles are in the playoff hunt by being a couple games under. They don't want that to be their final destination. But for now, 2 wins feels a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. Especially after that weekend, it was a little dire. The last show we did, losing 4 in a row to the Yankees, heading down to Miami. You just didn't know what was going to happen in the series based off what we saw those 4 games this past weekend. So you're right, though. Any wins are good wins right now. It doesn't matter how they get it done or what it looks like. It's just a win. And that's all you can really do at this point. Just kind of keep pace with the American League where, nobody's really kind of running away with it right now. So wins are great. And the offense is kind of looking how we kind of expected. It's looking like it's running on all cylinders. They have the big hitters starting to hit right now, and they're kind of carrying this team. And that's what you need from this offense.
When you're in a rut like the Orioles were heading to Miami, it throws style points out the window. You're just trying to survive in advance. You're trying to win. And you can get to that game Tuesday where, yeah, it was great. Adley Rutschman, Craig Albernas pushing the right buttons, pinch hitting for a red-hot Samuel Basallo. Adley ends up coming through. Leody Taveras with the tack-on run. But the Orioles, they blew 2 3-run leads in that game. But you know what? It doesn't matter. And yesterday, it was more steady. And in both of those games, guys, they were able to get off to quick starts. They scored 3 runs in the first inning of both of those ball games, and that was huge. That was huge. And going from 5 straight games in which they didn't lead at all to where these past 2 games, they haven't trailed at all.
And you know what? Also, when you look at the offense, we've been talking about how they score early or late, and now the add-on runs have been huge these games, and that's really where good offenses turn into great offenses, is when you're able to add those tack-on runs, extend the leads. You lose a lead, you take the lead back, and that's really what you want to see from an offense. Not so much score a ton early and then do nothing the rest of the game, or have to come back at the end and score runs like they have been doing. They've been able to tack on runs there in the middle innings, which have been huge, especially in these last 2 games.
So the Orioles went from a 5-game losing streak during which they were outscored 50-15 to a 2-game winning streak during which they've outscored Miami 16-11. So some runs are coming. And finally, some run prevention was coming last night. The Orioles had a little stretch of, I think, 6 straight games. They gave up 7 or more runs. That won't work. But 4 is more like it. And Brandon Young, he gave it up in the first. And no doubt every Oriole fan said, here we go again. 3-0 lead is gone. And who knew he was going to turn it around to the dramatic nature he did. And he said, I had no choice. And so I guess he didn't. But, man, the execution for second inning on, pretty special.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. I mean, that first inning, like I texted you guys last night, it was like, oh, no, here's the Astro game all over again. But he was outstanding. I mean, he got the first – I think they said the first 2 batters out in every inning that he pitched last night. And unfortunately, the first inning, he had a couple of walks there that kind of led to the 3 runs. But after that, he really just attacked with his fastball. I think it's you go into a game with a game plan, and I think sometimes – when you have a really good fastball like he had last night, you really have to lean in on that, regardless of what the scouting report says. And I think they made some adjustments after that first inning, and he just attacked the guys. They couldn't square up his fastball. Even though he didn't have the best location with it, he had such ride on his fastball last night. Every single Marlins hitter was just popping the balls up. I mean, he was having 0-0, 0-1 pitches, kind of middle in, middle up. And guys were just popping them up. They weren't able to do anything with it. And I think he really just leaned into that and just kind of rode his fastball for the entire start. It was fun to watch. And it's great to see a guy who had a rough start his last one come out, have a really bad first inning, but then put up 5 scoreless innings after that and get through the 6th inning, which is this staff really needed with this stretch they have coming up.
They really, really needed that from Brandon Young. And you're right, Brad. It has to be human nature for him to think, for the club to think, oh my gosh, here we go again, with how disastrous the Astros game was, where the Orioles were down 5-0 before they even took an at-bat, and that game got away from him. And I remember Brandon Young really upset at himself talking to the media after that game, saying, man, like I thought these blow-up starts were behind me after last year. So for him to bear down, and by the way, that first inning, he got those first 2 outs on 4 pitches and then ran into trouble where 5 consecutive guys ended up reaching. For him to retire 16 of the final 18 batters, 7 straight, really, really impressive stuff. And you said it, Brad, it was the fastball with him. He got 7 swings and misses on that fastball, but he also got strike 1 on that fastball. First pitch strikes that were fastballs last night. He got first pitch strikes in 13 of those 17 chances. That's really, really good.
Yeah, and for me, the biggest thing was he kind of seemed a little tentative early in that first inning. He was going to a lot of off speed and almost like trying to make things happen as opposed to just attacking them and saying, here it is, here's my fastball, see how far you can hit it. And he was just really aggressive in the zone, which was really impressive and fun to watch.
Pitch efficient, 93 pitches, got him 6 innings. He was averaging about 15 an inning. 1 hit allowed from the second inning on. And Tim, all the talk of 2-out runs, well, he gave some up in the first inning, and then he didn't give up anything after. It doesn't matter how many outs. He was rolling. And you guys are right. You leaned on the fastball. 55%, 4 seams last night. We'll see a lot of games in the major leagues anymore where the starter throws over 50% fastball. He had it going, and his other pitches were way down percentage-wise. You realized I could lean on that. And that ride you talk about, this induced vertical break they talk about, which essentially means you can pitch up better than other pitchers. And I guess he had that going too last night, Brad. So I give this guy a lot of credit. I mean, his career ERA is pretty high, and he didn't have great stats last year. But outside of the one blip, and it was a tough blip, he's doing some really good things for this team when they got a couple guys on the injured list from the starters.
Yeah, and also too, I think for him, I love seeing a great start after kind of knowing Trevor Rogers is coming, that looming decision being made here. And it just seemed like his demeanor changed after that first inning. He went into attack mode, and he was a very much different and more confident pitcher after that first inning. And it was fun to see. And that's when he's at his best. I've seen a few of his really good starts, and he's just attacking guys. He's going right at them. He's getting strike 1, and he's forcing them to put the ball in play. He's not a huge strikeout guy. He'll get his swings and misses here and there, but when he's really attacking the zone, he's getting early contact. That's when he's at his best.
And
go ahead, Tim.
No, I was going to say, and Brad, it's a good point in bringing up the Trevor Rogers of it all, where I'm sure that's in the back of his head. But at the end of the day, if you're Brandon Young, you just have to control what you can control. And that's going out, giving your team a chance to win that game, start to stack back-to-back wins. And that's exactly what he did.
He sure did. A great outing for Brandon Young after a shaky start, and the Orioles get a victory. Taylor Ward is drawing a ton of walks. Gunnar Henderson, unfortunately right now, is piling up a ton of strikeouts. We're going to check in on both those players in a moment on Birdland Territory.
Let's talk love life, FT family. I know it's an important part of everyone's life, but if you need help or if you don't, BlueChew Gold is changing the game, and it is turbocharging your love life.
That was beautifully delivered. The new arousal-boosting formula combines passion and performance into one tablet that dissolves under your tongue for super fast onset. No more waiting for a pill to kick in. No more moments ruined by performance anxiety. Just the results you want when you want them. Most ED meds only focus on blood flow, but BlueChew Gold goes further by combining 2 ingredients for blood flow with 2 more for mental arousal and connection. So you're not just physically ready, you're actually in the mood. And we've got a special deal for our listeners right now. When you buy 2 months of BlueChew Gold, you get the 3rd for free with promo code FOUL. That's promo code FOUL. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BlueChew for sponsoring the podcast.
Guys, with Gunnar Henderson right now, the stats are not there. He's hitting 201, OPS 691, well under what we would expect and he would expect. And the K percentage is way up, 31.5, career worst for him, well over. In 2024, a great year. K percentage was 22.1, very reasonable. Last year, 21.0, now 31. What do you guys see that's creating the swing and miss for Gunnar right now?
Yeah, I kind of went and just kind of watched his at-bats in the last couple of games and just kind of seeing how maybe it was more of how the pitchers were attacking him or the swings he was taking. But right now he's not getting to the inside fastball. Last night he was getting challenged inside with the inside fastball. And I feel like for Gunnar, if he's not able to get to that pitch, it gets really hard to cover the rest of the plate. It was a pretty apparent attack last night they had on him. It was fastballs in, and then it was all speed away. And I think he's just kind of caught in between both swings. And I feel like for a hitter, if you're not able to get to that inside fastball, it makes everything else a lot more tough. And I think that's kind of where he is right now. He's kind of stuck trying to get to that inside fastball, and then you're just not able to cover away when you start seeing the off-speed pitches. So last night it was just that pitcher Perez that's some of the nastiest stuff you'll see a starter have in the league. And he just he was getting beat inside, and it happens. But I think it's kind of becoming a trend, and it'll be interesting to see if pitchers continue to attack him the same way they have the last couple nights.
Brad, we had Ben McDonald on my show on 105.7 The Fan yesterday or 2 days ago, and we were asking him about Gunnar, and he made an interesting point in saying maybe one of the worst things that could have happened to him was him having that stretch of a bunch of homers in a row. I think he hit 4 home runs in 5 games, where Ben thinks that maybe he's getting a little too homer happy, maybe a little too much swinging for the fences. Could that be an issue? Do you see something like that?
It could be. I definitely know what Ben's saying. I think a lot of times especially when it happens early in the season, you kind of sit there and you start doing what you're doing, but that's not what gives you success. And I think for Gunnar, what gives him success is hitting to all fields. And I think when you start getting pull happy, you start pulling off everything. So when he starts missing the inside fastball, he's not able to drive the off speed the other way, which I think makes him one of the most elite hitters in the game, is when he starts hitting that ball to left center field. And we talked about Pete I think it's very similar what's happening to Gunnar right now, what was happening to Pete early in the season. He was seeing so many off-speed pitches that he wasn't able to get to the fastball. So when they were missing with fastballs were getting by him, and he was so used to seeing so many off-speed that when he was missing the off-speed, he couldn't catch up to the fastball. And I think it's a similar situation with what we're seeing with Gunnar right now. I think Ben's right. I think he was getting a little bit too pull happy, and I think it can kind of throw your game off. And when you don't know, when you can't get to the inside fastball, like I think Gunnar can on a regular basis, it just throws everything off, and you're trying to play catch up. And when you're playing catch up at the big leagues, especially with the stuff they've seen the last 2 or 3 series, it makes it really hard to be a hitter at that level.
And with those numbers, because Masson's been flashing those graphics recently, the Orioles have seen the second fewest fastballs in the majors this year. And I know a lot of people like to poke fun at Colton Cowser just with the lack of fastballs that he's seeing this year and the off speed being way up. But this is a team wide thing. This isn't just Colton Cowser, and Gunnar Henderson is one part of that, Brad. When I was looking at his Baseball Savant page this morning, Gunnar's 3 for 29 with 9 strikeouts on off speed pitches. He's 14 for 76. That's a 184 average with 29 strikeouts on breaking and off speed pitches. And if you look at the fastball percentages that Gunnar is seeing year over year, it's down 8.2%. That is a substantial difference year over year. So clearly pitchers are seeing something, and Gunnar now has to make that adjustment.
Yeah, and I think with all the data and analytics you have now, if you have a hole, it's going to be exposed until you fix it. And these teams are just going to constantly go back to the well on what you're struggling with when they don't have to make any adjustments. So it's I think with the analytics stuff, it's the game planning has become so much better, because there's no like hiding anything. There's no being able to stay away from anything. It's, if you're struggling with something, you're going to see tons of it. And today with the Marlins pitcher Meyer, I think it's Meyer. he throws a ton of off-speed pitches. I saw my last year in AAA. I mean, I think he was throwing 75% sliders. It makes Kyle Bradish on some of these starts look like he's throwing all fastballs. So it'll be interesting to see today because, like you said, the data has shown they're struggling on off-speed, and this guy really goes to the well on off-speed pitches. So it's going to be interesting to see if he sticks to that game plan. And to me, that's what I love watching when I watch these games. It's what is going to be done. Are they going to stick to what has been working and what he does best, or do they change something up because they've lost the last 2 games? I think he's going to lean very heavy on his slider today, but it'll be interesting to see how he goes about his game plan.
StatCast gives us so much data, but sometimes you can look at a number and it feels, oh, this is big. And for me, in 2024, when Gunnar was an MVP candidate, he was in the top 16% in what they call chase percentage. He wasn't chasing. He was one of the best. Now he's in the bottom 28%. Top 16, 2 years later, bottom 28. It's hard enough to hit the strikes, which Gunnar's now missing some of them, as you said, Brad. Pound him in. He's not getting to that ball, but now he's expanding too. When you lose confidence as a hitter, you start to expand. And when pitchers see that, Brad, on a scouting report, it's like a shark seeing it's go time to get ahead and expand and get outs.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's it in a nutshell. It's throw strike one. And right now, I mean, they're being super aggressive in the zone to Gunnar. And he had a single the other night through the right side, but I think they're just confident if they can get strike one, then from there, you don't even have to throw a strike. You can be out of the zone. You can make him expand. And when you see hitters scuffling, and that's just basically where Gunnar's at right now. He's trying to make things happen as opposed to when he's at his best, he kind of lets the game come to him. And I think just right now, he's a little bit outside the zone, probably losing the zone just a little bit because he's trying to go out and get these pitches that he knows he should be hitting. And when you miss the one you should hit, it makes you frustrated, and then you start to expand even more. And I think that's kind of where it's at right now. And it happens to the best hitters in the game. And it's when pitchers see that, that's what they do, exactly what you said. You get strike one, then you can expand and go anywhere you want from there.
Exactly. So Gunnar's too good for this to not pass. It will at some point, but right now, really struggling on this road trip and trying to get it going. Thanks for watching today, Birdland Territory. Hope you'll subscribe to our channel. Time for Daily Dingers presented by FanDuel. And tonight, you talk about an Oriole who might hit one out. He's hit out a lot in Lone Depot Park. I'm talking about Pete Alonso. Freddie Freeman is the all-time leader in that park with 18 homers. Next is Pete Alonso with 16, and he got one last night. What a swing that was. 98 on the corner. It was 0-2, and he hit it 400 to center. This is how locked in he is right now. And remember when we were talking about, is he having trouble with his bat speed? He's not having any trouble with his bat speed. His exit velocity, by the way, is better than some guys who have ridiculous exit velocities over the years. So a lot's going right for this guy right now.
Yeah, he looks great. He looks locked in, and he kind of talked about it after the game last night, just how he's comfortable there. When you play in division at a ballpark for so long, there's just certain parks that you see the ball better. Unfortunately, Camden Yards is usually one of those places for opposing hitters. And when anybody came in town, I was like, I don't even want to talk. If I knew them, I was like, I don't even want to talk to you. I know you see the ball well here. Don't want to hear it. And I think that's how it is for Pete right now. I don't think anybody's trying to come say hi to him because they know that he's just seeing it well. It's a very friendly ballpark. There's not a big crowd usually. They have a huge blue hitter's eye in center field. I always like pitch on the mound there, but apparently hitters like hitting in the box. And Pete said that last night. He likes the batter's box. He likes the hitter's eye, and he's seeing it really well right now. And he's swinging the bat really well. Like you said, that pitch last night, when Pete's on, there's not a pitch he can't hit over the fence. I saw it as a rookie at Cincinnati. He took a pitch like 96. On the black away, and he hit it out through the smokestacks in right center field there for the Steamboat place. And it was one of the most impressive swings I've seen. And when he's locked in, he can do that to any pitcher, any count, any pitch you throw.
He is looking like Pete Alonso right now. And now you can look at the season-long numbers, and they're really climbing. 781 OPS, still not to Pete's height, but when you look back to, we brought it up so many times on this podcast, him after that Giants game and how emotional he was and how upset he was. Well, you can go to the final game of that Giants series, and that now spans 23 games, so a decent sample size. Pete's got a 945 OPS in that stretch, 17 RBIs, 6 homers, 8 doubles, 20 strikeouts to 14 walks. That's Pete Alonso in this stretch.
He had a ball in the ninth inning last night, 110.8. That was caught. That was an out. The homer was 109.5. I mean, these are just ridiculous exit velocities. So Pete Alonso is our daily dingers pick for the game Thursday night in Miami. Head over to FanDuel.com/podcast to opt in for daily dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball.
No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
And now on to Taylor Ward. This is crazy. He's on the 144 walk pace. The Oriole team record is 118 by Ken Singleton in the 1970s. That would shatter that. His walk percentage is way up. His strikeout percentage is way down. That's a great result for any hitter. Talk about locked in, and talk about chase percentages, which we just were. He's in the 100th percentile. He chases less than anybody in baseball right now, StatCast is telling us. And we're seeing that play out every night in the batter's box.
Yeah, I mean, he knows the strike zone inside out, upside down, however you want to say it. He knows the strike zone right now. And I think he's just making pitchers throw strikes. And I think he's starting to realize that most major league pitchers, you throw over 50% out of the zone, and he's waiting for his pitch when it's in the zone. And if it's not, he's just taking his free pass and kind of passing the baton down the line. And I think he's really setting up this offense to have success and allow the hitters behind him to knock him in. And it's been impressive to see. And to me, I think it just leads to him. His power numbers might not be what Oriole fans had expected, but I think they're going to go up because pitchers are going to start realizing you have to throw the ball in the zone. And I think he's just kind of waiting them out, kind of playing the cat and mouse game right now. And when he starts to get those pitches, I think when he gets hot, he's going to get really, really hot and start hitting balls over the fence.
I almost feel like we're not talking enough about this guy. And in part, we've made some jokes, throughout the offseason where Ward was the first acquisition. Then, of course, Pete gets the massive contract and he's overshadowed by Pete, which you get. And you think of the star power that this team has with Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rutschman's having a resurgent year and Samuel Basallo is swinging a red hot bat. Taylor Ward is flying under the radar for me, guys. And he's having a fantastic start to the season. And Brad, you're right. The power numbers aren't there. He's only got the 1 home run, but if he keeps getting on base with the clip that he's getting on, I'm fine with that. Like Taylor Ward, you look at his numbers, and this is just kind of a nutshell yesterday, guys. 5 at-bats, he saw 29 pitches, so almost 6 pitches per plate appearance. You look at where he ranks in the majors. He's 4th in the majors in pitches seen per plate appearance at 4.45 pitches per plate appearance. Then you look at the batter numbers. Second in doubles with tied for second in doubles with 13. He's 3rd in walks with 34. He's 3rd in on-base percentage. 434 on base. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable for Taylor Ward, the start to the season. And, that was seen when the trade was made, Steve, and covered Grayson his whole minor league career. You knew the potential that he had, and unfortunately injuries just piled up for Grayson, and you understand why Mike Elias made that trade. But it was a trade when it happened. Grayson has 4 years of control. Taylor Ward only has 1. But right now, Grayson, he started the year on the IL, and Taylor Ward, it's been a home run of a trade for Mike Elias, Steve.
Well, so far he's been a joy to cover, and he told me he really got locked in on plate discipline at college at Fresno State. His coach told him how important it was and really emphasized it, and where he played with Aaron Judge, by the way, in college. And then he played with Mike Trout in the pros. Pretty good 1-2 punch. But Taylor Ward is seeing it right now, guys. 20.5 walk percentage. That is exceptional. We're going to talk about Adley Rutschman. He's got it rolling now, too. That's coming up.
Big Bad Morning Show. Vinny and Haney. Inside Access. Live on YouTube weekdays 6 till 6. Search Baltimore 105.7 The Fan. Subscribe for daily shorts right to your phone and never miss what you missed. 105.7 The Fan.
If he had enough at-bats to qualify for league leaders, he doesn't quite yet. He would be in the top 20 in OPS. We're talking about Adley Rutschman. 313 average, 368 on base, 563 slug, and 931 OPS. And oh, by the way, it's one of the best framers in baseball catching. What a year, man. What a turnaround for this guy.
Yeah, he's looked great. And it's not even from just like one side of the plate. It's both sides of the plate right now. He's just seen it really well. I love the way he lets the ball travel as a hitter. He's willing to take his hits the other way. And even last night, he caught up to 98 up and in and pulled it down the line for a double and scored a run there. It's just, he's really impressive to watch when he's at his best. And I think last year, those injuries really factored into his season. I think it really affected him way more than he wanted to admit. And this is the kind of hitter and player Orioles fans expected. When you're drafted #1 overall, you have a lofty expectations. And I think right now he's living up to those and more. He's looked great at the plate, behind the plate, the way he's helping these young pitchers kind of settle into. It's been really impressive and fun to watch.
He's played in 22 games so far, and you can go back to each year of his career. This season, the first 22 games compared to that sample size, he's got the most doubles, RBIs, total bases, and fewest strikeouts. And we know how good Adley was when he first came up, and he was a 2-time All-Star in 23, in 24, and Adley has better numbers through the first 22 games than those seasons. He has been really, really impressive. And Brad, I wanted to get your thoughts on the other day. Steve and I talked about it yesterday on pregame. Just Craig Albernaz pushing the right button, pinch hitting Samuel Basallo in Tuesday night's game. And look, that would have been a decision that was second guessed if Adley didn't come through, but he did. Samuel Basallo, he was only one homer away from the cycle that night, but Adley came through in a big time spot.
Yeah, I think it goes to show the confidence he has in both guys. I think it's, they're interchangeable at any point, whether it's a pinch hit, whether it's putting them both in the lineup together. One is the DH, one is the catcher. And I think it just shows, like you're saying, I mean, that is like an unheard of move. The guy has a triple, double, and single to that point, and you pinch hit somebody who hasn't been in the game all game. And it just, it allows the versatility because of the switch hitting of Adley Rutschman. And it's been really cool to watch, and it's been great to see how they're handling all of it. Whether, I think when we talked, kind of the other day, I mentioned how you just got to get both these guys in the lineup, but we'll see how it plays out as the season goes along. Maybe Adley will be more fresh, and maybe the fact that they're both not in the lineup every single day will make them better come August and September. So it's been fun to watch, and what a luxury to have both these guys. And I think with Basallo's coming around behind the plate and the way he's done a great job catching, really just frees up Albernaz when it comes to being able to play both these guys or one of them and give them the rest that they need. But it's been fun to watch, and it's cool to see how he's been using them. It's an interesting dynamic, and I don't think any team in the league has what the Orioles have in both these catchers.
All-star candidates, 2 catchers. And we're a long way away from really getting deep into that conversation, but right now, and guys, the offense right now, you've got Adley going, you've got Ward going, you've got Alonso going, you got Basallo going. You don't have Gunnar going. It's hard to maybe get all 5 at one time, but they're only one short right now to really seeing what this thing can look like. And I think the offense that a lot of people expected is starting to come.
Yeah, and I think if the offense gets going like we think it can kind of iron over some of these pitching problems that may be seen right now. And I think it just frees them up to not feel they have to be perfect the whole time and just go out there and do what they do. And I think last night with Brandon Young getting those 3 runs early, yes, he gave up the 3 right away, but he was able to go back out there and they kept tacking on runs. And I think if pitchers start seeing that, it's kind of like, okay, it's time for us to kind of get things in gear here and not have to stress so much about putting up zeros every single inning when you have an offense that can score at the rate that I think we expect them to put up runs.
The reality is, if the Orioles get back to playing games in October, it's got to be on the back of the offense. That's just how the team was built. Pete was the huge acquisition. Taylor Ward was a big-time trade. And we know all of these guys in this young core, they're going to have to hit in order to make the playoffs.
So it's gotten a little better in Birdland, slowly but surely, and the Orioles are digging out of a hole here. A couple wins in Miami. They're now 17-20 and have won 2 in a row after the 5-game losing streak. Homestand begins Friday against the Athletics in Baltimore. They'll try for the sweep tonight at Lone Depot Park. For Brad Brach and Tim Barbalace, I'm Steve Melewski. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in a couple days with another edition of Birdland Territory.